Good morning, and thank you for joining me here today at Tada Childcare. This is a licensed family childcare, meaning that it is in my home. So I use one room for childcare purposes, and this door behind me is going into my home. The room that I am in is the classroom, which is my breezeway. It's a walkway between the house and the garage because I wanted to keep the childcare separate from my living space. So I'm going to give you a quick tour around explaining each center so that you can know what centers can be in a preschool classroom, the purposes of them, and different things you can have in those centers and activities that you can make for the children from these centers. So first, we have the reading area behind me. I'm just going to spin around for you. This is our little book nook. And I got these cute little decorative posters, mini posters. They say dive into reading. I got them from the Dollar Tree for $1. So when I was starting out putting everything together, I actually didn't have my license at the time. I was just very determined to open. So I wanted to buy everything and put the classroom together first and then do the licensing process and everything. So I wasn't working at the time, so I got like most of the decor and stuff from the Dollar Tree. But Dollar Tree has some super cute stuff, so it's a bang for your buck, and it's cool looking. I mean, the kids love this area. They love to hang out right here. It's a little step, so a lot of times they like to just come up here and sit even if they're not reading. And so let's talk about some of the books. I got this bookshelf on Facebook Marketplace for $15. And to my surprise, the woman that was selling it lived right around the corner. So you can find some good stuff on Facebook Marketplace if you're starting out on a budget like me. This is a Spanish book I actually got from a high scope conference about 5 or 6 years ago. And the book was very affordable. And the author has a program called I'm Bilingual, and she teaches children Spanish through song, and that was perfect for me because I love music and I also love languages. Spanish is my favorite language, and probably because that's the language that I know more of, I feel comfortable teaching the children Spanish, so we learn Spanish in here, and we have some bilingual books. And I love this book because there's a song that goes with all of the books from the series, and there are CDs that come with the books too. So I'm just going to show you the book one more time, just in case you want to write down that information or screenshot the video so you can check out the I'm Bilingual series. I love it. I have a few CDs and materials from that author, and the children really seem to love the songs that go with it. I got this from a cereal box, and there's a bilingual storybook attached to the cereal boxes. It's a Sesame Street cereal, and there is a different story on each box. So they really enjoy it. And I actually put the box on the table for the children during breakfast time when they eat cereal once a week, because I like to make hot meals for them. So Monday is cereal day, because we all know Monday can be a bit of a challenge coming from the weekend. So I try to make it as easy as possible. And so we eat cereal in the morning. And they really enjoy looking at the pictures on the cereal box as they eat their cereal. So you just tear the book part off of the cereal box, and then you can read it to them as a story while they eat the cereal, or you can let them look at the pictures on the cereal box and make their own story. They really like to make their own stories looking at the pictures. I have another book that has like the eyes, and each time you turn the page, the eyes are on someone else. And sometimes when they have independent reading time, they put their face up to the book and look through and make the sound of the animal that the eyes are on. This is a good book for infants. It makes different sounds and everything. I have Bible story books. A lot of our children like to talk about church, coming back to school on Monday from the weekend. And so they tend to gravitate towards the Bible stories early in the week. And then I have different books that talk about numbers and counting. Those are always good for early math skills. And I like to incorporate culture. So this book talks about Irish culture, and it also helps the children count different objects. And you can feel it. It's like you can feel the embroidery on the page. So for those children that love sensory, they will gravitate to books like this. So I like to have different cultures represented in the classroom, as well as languages, colors, different type of textures for my sensory learners. This one is more so of an infant type of book, but a lot of the preschool children like it too because of the sensory that I was talking about. So they'll come over and they'll, just rub the book and they'll read the alphabets and tell me the animals they see, but they mostly love it for the sound. So I switch out my books once every 2 weeks, just so it's enough time for them to explore the books on the shelf, but, frequent enough for them to not get bored. And then I have my little calendar up, children friendly, but out of their eye level, because the calendar is for me to remember things. I tend to, need to write things down to remember these important things. I like to have maps up for the children. That's not at their eye level, but I have one that is at their eye level. Our Circle Time carpet is a map of the U.S., just for a little social studies and stuff like that. I have an alphabet board, and a lot of times when we are doing our phonics, sometimes I use flashcards, and sometimes I just say something that starts with the letter. I make the sound, and then I'll pick a child to go and touch the letter on the board. Or sometimes I let them race to the board and see who can find it first. And sometimes a child may get a little frustrated because they wanted to find it first. So I always have like a backup letter or something, or let them find it together. A lot of times they like to find the letter that their first name starts with. So I like to start with that letter first before I move on. But they really love phonics. And that's an early literacy skill. So I have some books up here. I have a bookshelf behind me, but I have out books. I kind of swap out my books every 2 weeks as well. So that way during nap time, I can sit and read something that's going to help me in the classroom. So that's that. I have this dry erase board. It's a mini board just to help me keep on task with the subject that I want to touch on during table time. So today is math. So we're going to count rocks today and just, categorize and group the rocks. Count them, line them up from biggest to smallest. Those are early math skills for the children. And it's also natural science because they are touching a natural object, the rocks. So since we're here in the black area, I'm going to show you. Right beside the black area is our plants. Keep some life in here. This is the book for the week. Things that go air and sea. Just talking about different modes of transportation. I like to put a book of the week over here near our red chair that's right across from the book nook to try to encourage the children to look at a new book and just, draw their attention to the book area, because most children are drawn to the black area and the kitchen area of a classroom. So I have found that when I switch out a book or even just change things in the book area every once in a while, they'll be more likely to come over and see what's going on. So here's our sign language chart. And sometimes when I ask the children to find a letter, if I see that they're having a difficult time identifying where that letter is, I'll sign it on my hand. And then I'll say, can you find the letter that has this hand? And then they'll come over and find it. And then we'll go on and say, B is for ball, ball. And then we'll sign it. So early sign language skills is a great thing for early communication for children that having a speech delay or maybe hearing impaired or deaf, hard of hearing, and all of those things. And that's our ridge here that goes with our book nook. So moving to the black area, we have a house, and they like to put babies in there, as you see, animals, cars, they put everything in there, even the rocks. Here in the black area, I like to have puzzles. Now, I change the puzzles out on a weekly basis. I usually come out here on Saturday and switch out the puzzles. So last week we had animal puzzles out. This week I have numbers and alphabets, just because we're trying to get ready for kindergarten in here. So it's very important that we recognize our numbers and alphabets, and we also talk about the colors too represented. So that's how you can kind of maximize the lesson. You don't just have to stick to the letters. You can talk about the colors and twist them around and see if they'll know if it's upside down, or, well, it doesn't work with Z and X, but you can put them upside down or to the side and see if they recognize that, oh no, that's not the right way, and just be a little silly with it, lighten the mood and everything, and be silly and say this is a K, and then they'll correct you and say it's a D. Just to kind of, subtle assessing their knowledge. We have these kind of jumbo foam blocks. They love doing this for aftercare. It's like their favorite activity to do when they wake up from nap. They like to build castles, houses for their mommies and daddies. They build bridges, and then they drive the cars across. Speaking of the cars, we also have cars in the black area. And the black area just kind of facilitates the children's creativity that they already have. You're literally just facilitating that by giving them the props and the materials needed to express this creativity. I like to label my things. I don't use a curriculum per se, such as like Montessori or high scope. Most of my experience is in high scope. So that's where I got the labeling from. And I just feel like it helps the children learn how to sort, because they're putting things in a particular place and grouping them, which is an early math skill. And it's early literacy if you put the words next to the item. And it's just very organized and makes things easier for anyone that's coming in your classroom to sub for you, to know where things go, as well as yourself. It makes the cleaning process much easier, and I'm all about easy. So these are the cars in the car bin. I have a napkin here just to catch any water that was left in the toys after I soaked them. These are the people, and the people bin is represented by this nice young lady. So with the people, I have things that people use in here as well, like their house, their bed, their fire station. Here we have a farmer, Barbie clothes, all kinds of things. As we see, Peppa Pig and a few dogs are in here, so these need to be sorted, and that can be made into an activity. Just sit the animal bin and the people bin out during playtime, or make that the table time and have the kids sort it, or you can make it into a large group activity and put one bin on one side of the room and one bin on the other, and have them do a relay race or something, and they can run. This is when they can use their running feet and toss the toy in the appropriate bin. So that's a way that you can have them sort them, make cleaning easier for yourself, as well as burning their energy and assessing their sorting early math skills. Several things in one activity. I like to maximize my activities and have different skills being reinforced. This is the animal bin. Lots of animals. And then I have the sensory portion of the black area. Different little poppets. I usually have some bubble wrap over here, but I like to switch things out. So this week I'm not gonna have the bubble wrap up here. I'll probably put it back up on Friday evening for the following week. Then we have a squishy ball. When our friends get a little frustrated, they can squish it. And they usually end up feeling better fast because they like to laugh at the face being rearranged while they're squishing it. So that's something that you can do for behavior modification. Say, oh, do you need the squishy ball? Are you feeling upset? And they can take the squishy ball to the red chair, or you can have them sit on your lap if they're not like a violent child that's gonna hit or anything like that. You can just let them stay in the circle with their friends if they're not hurting anyone. But a lot of the times when the children want to calm, they get the squishy ball, they come to our calm chair. I know red is not the most common color, but they like the chair. They like to feel like they have a special place to come with the squishy ball. Dr. Kit, to our kitchen area, I have dishes and food. Lots of dishes. A lot of these dishes and food came with this set. I think this set was $100 at Walmart, I want to say. Little Tykes, a classic. So we have food in here, have our stethoscope, we have our play phones. And then this is the bin that I have the children put their dirty dishes in after meals. We have our trash can and our diaper genie. The diaper genie goes in the bathroom, but it's in here so it can be taken out and sanitized before I put it back in there. Few safety features. I have a CO2 detector, fire extinguisher, and the black remote is a button to open up the garage. That's where parents enter and exit for drop off and pick up. And the remote to our air unit, which I'm going to turn that on very soon because it's starting to warm up this morning. And moving on to the music area. I have puppets over here because I usually have the puppets sing to the children for transitions. And we use the puppets to act things out when we sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So our animal puppets are very musical. So I thought it would be appropriate to put them in the music area. And we have a songbook with different nursery rhymes and finger plays. And we like to use our puppets for finger plays as well. So here's our songbook. And that's my teacher chair. It's by the music area, very appropriate for me. I love music, so that's where I hang out a lot of times during nap time. And yeah, so just lots of hand instruments. I have other instruments. I swap those out on a monthly basis. We have little guitars as well. And here's our art area. Art helps with fine motor. They like to do the alphabets and numbers on the magnet, and then you can turn the board around and use chalk. And as you can see, there is children's writing on here. We were working on writing letters, and one of the children decided to start writing numbers, which was cool because we haven't started to write the numbers yet. We've just been identifying them when we see them. So it was pretty cool to see the child write numbers on their own. So I was pretty amazed by that. And this particular child just turned 3, so I was super impressed. I have chalk over here at the easel, and then magnets, the eraser, and then back here are shirts. Once again, I got these little neon polos. I got such a bright color. Just to brighten things up, honestly, and so I can see where paint and stuff is to, do a better job at blotting it out before we put it in the washing machine, I guess. But I love colors, and the kids do too. But I got these from the Dollar Tree, and I like to put these shirts on the children before we paint or do anything that may possibly make a mess on their clothes. Sometimes I put it on them when we do Play-Doh as well. And then I have these designs, this decor back here for the art area. And that actually came from the Dollar Tree as well. So the paint shirts came from the Dollar Tree. The art area decor came from the Dollar Tree. This paintbrush holder and the paintbrushes came from the Dollar Tree. These Etch-a-Sketches, these are magnetic and you can write on them. It's a dry erase board as well. Those came from the Dollar Tree. The construction paper came from the Dollar Tree. The workbooks came from the Dollar Tree. Our coloring books and this basket that they're in came from the Dollar Tree. So once again, don't sleep on the Dollar Tree. I have giant coloring books as well. And they love these. They love taking them home. They usually like to do these like right before nap. Sometimes they'll ask for them during free play as well. But I mean, everything in the classroom should be accessible to the children. So if it's something you don't want them to have, I found that it's just best to take it off the shelf because if they see it, they're going to want it. So especially those 2-year-olds and early 3s. I have erasers that look like fun little animals. They like to play with them and make the animals talk to each other. So, I mean, it's multi-purpose. And it also came from the Dollar Tree. Dry erase markers, pencils, pencil sharpeners, extra colored chalk, crayons, all from the Dollar Tree. So everything in the art area is from the Dollar Tree. So I'm not just constantly saying it. The paint, once again, I like to label. So the children know the paint is here because they see the paint in the paintbrush. And there are different mosaic paintings. Actually, we should do this today. I have all of these different acrylic paints. All kinds of different colors, and it's very good quality paint. Don't be shocked about that Dollar Tree, people. That's all I'm saying. I have these little small bowls. These were actually for my bridal shower last year. We were using them to put like the lettuce and tomatoes and stuff in for the taco bar. And I had a lot extra left over. I saved them, and now I use them to put water in for the kids to dip their paintbrushes in here. So you don't have to rebuy things. If you have materials and stuff in your house, find a way to multi-purpose them. And I'm sure anything could be used in the classroom, especially if you get creative. We have the skin tone markers. They're minis, so they fit in the children's hands perfectly. And they like to make animal sounds when they're using them because they look like little animals. Once again, multi-purposing the materials in the classroom. They play with them. You can make them talk to the children when it's time to put the markers away and say, it's time to clean up, and translate for the markers. Be the markers interpreter and tell the children it's time to put the markers away. Kids tend to love stuff like that. Custom cars. I found these at the Dollar Tree as well, and let the children paint their own race car. So, moving on, I have glitter. This is the collage material, by the way. I have glitter, pipe cleaners, feathers, pom-poms, glue sticks, regular glue, felt Christmas trees from the holiday, and then lots of tissue rolls to make flutes or whatever you want to make. Getting creative. If you run out of artistic, creative ideas, hop on Pinterest. I find lots of great ideas on Pinterest. And talk to other childcare providers as well. We can be great resources to one another, for sure. So I took a picture of the items that were in this area just to help the children figure out where they belong. Once again, a sorting activity and skill for early math. And then this is the Play-Doh drawer. And the stamps are in here. Yarn is in here. But mostly Play-Doh and Play-Doh tools. So that's the art area. And then I have different country flags hanging around the room for that cultural element. And my cleaning supplies are up here out of the reach of the children, my books that I need, and then different learning supplies like flashcards and workbooks, the printer to make copies of forms that are needed, all of the files and things over here, like the children's files. And just different things that I would need for licensing purposes. Then I like to label them. My emergency bag. And so that is my classroom. And thank you for watching.